What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Roundup Show. I am your host, Daniel Elving, and thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this from YouTube, be sure to smash the subscribe button, like this video, and comment down below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will be notified when Token Metrics creates new content for you. So I was looking in the comments and I noticed that basically from last time I was using the word basically a lot. So I'm going to try to reduce my use of that word this time so I don't drive you guys crazy. So what are we talking about today? Well, I'm going to tell you about the top movers for this week, the latest crypto news, and a useful on-chain indicator that you can use to assess the overall market. So let's begin. So when we go to look at the weekly performance, we can see that basically the top movers for this week is Axia Coin at a TM grade of 97, which has an ROI of 97%, Chrono.tech, which has a TM grade of 92, which has an ROI of 98%, Dopex Rebate Token has a TM grade of 86 with an ROI of 103%, Gains Farm with a TM grade of 87 with an ROI of 44%, and Osmosis with a TM grade of 90 with an ROI of 27%. TM grade is how Token Metrics rates crypto and basically looks at it at determining what has a lot of momentum from 0 to 100%. Higher TM grade tend to have higher momentum. And now we could also take a look. The highest TM grade per sector, we have the DeFi with best coin being RDPX with a TM grade of 90. The DEX with best coin being Osmo with a TM grade of 90. Gaming with best coin of Rainy with a TM grade of 86. Metaverse with the best coin being Sol with a TM grade of 78. NFT with best coin being Xmon with a TM grade of 87. The best TM grades for each exchange. For Binance, we have Link, One, Flux, SCRT, and Clay. For Coinbase, we have RAI, ICP, Atom, YFI, BAL, Uniswap, Float, Rainy, Muse, CIV, XFT. Qcoin, we have AXE, Time, Strong, One, and Flux. And then going to the Token Metrics Navigator, the most important theme of 2022 is going to be composability. The next generation of apps are going to leverage a multitude of composable crypto primitives to deliver experiences that were not possible before. This was mentioned by Samani. And then we also have Jamie Dimon that is looking to be more into the cryptocurrency market, so to speak. And so, of course, before he's mentioned that Bitcoin was a fraud, which was interesting because at the same time he was saying that Bitcoin was a fraud back then, JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley bought Bitcoin. And so I like to, look at it like they say one thing and tend to do another thing. Okay, now we're going to go to what's the latest news for the day. So the U.S. inflation report came out on Wednesday, and so inflation rose the highest in over 4 decades, which is 7%, and that was good for crypto market. So the crypto market has been bouncing back, and so Bitcoin investors usually use Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, and so this has been the highest increase since June of 1982. And the U.S. Federal Reserve, of course, like I mentioned earlier, is likely to raise interest rates to tackle high inflation, which could make fixed income assets like bonds more attractive and reduce the appeal of riskier bets on assets like stocks and cryptocurrencies. So the Fed sees inflation lasting till mid-22, and this is probably when they will let the balance sheet decline, according to senior market analyst, online brokerage Oenda, Edward Moya. He also mentioned the path of inflation may drive quicker rate hikes and sooner strike to shrinking the balance sheet, and that could be bearish short-term for risk assets such as cryptos, but equities will likely feel more pain. There is significant money on the sideline waiting to buy Bitcoin, but many crypto traders are having wait-and-see approach. In the next news, we have Solana being endorsed by Bank of America, saying that they're going to become the Visa of digital asset world. So Solana and other blockchains may snag market share from Ethereum over time, the bank said in a research note. So the Solana blockchain could become the Visa of the digital asset ecosystem as it focuses on scalability, low transaction fees, and ease of use, according to the Bank of America. And according to Shaw, Solana prioritizes scalability, but a relatively less decentralized, secure blockchain has trade-offs, illustrated by several network performance issues since inception. Ethereum prioritizes decentralization and security, but at the expense of scalability, which has led to periods of network congestion and transaction fees that are occasionally larger than the value of the transaction being sent. And so as a result of this coming out, Solana was a top gainer in the crypto, bumped as much as 8% in the 24 hours. And so the Solana developers claim can reach speeds up to 65,000 transactions per second. So it's the fastest blockchain in terms of transactions per second and very cheap transaction fees at 0.00025 cents per transaction, which has resulted in a massive retail interest for products built on Solana, especially those involving non-fungible tokens. So according to Arthur Chung, funder of Defiance Capital, interesting how the NFT ecosystem on Solana is thriving now, although it's built with features that are optimized for finance use cases, quick block time, low cost, fast finality. In fact, I think most user growth lately actually come from NFT instead of DeFi. And Ryan Wilkinson, head of product of Block Asset, stated that retail popularity of the network has attracted even more developers to build on Solana instead. The code for artists and creators to build their own NFT platforms and drops on Solana and community events also help onboard many creative developers to try their hands at creating customized collections and innovate. And NFTs on Solana provides key infrastructural benefits for the network, which the whole ecosystem gets behind. And what's new and exciting news is that Tonga is going to copy what El Salvador does in legalizing Bitcoin as legal tender. I see this as more of a domino effect. After El Salvador legalized Bitcoin as legal tender, other countries are going to legalize it as legal tender. And now Tonga looks like the next country that's likely to do it. And so it's going to be almost identical to El Salvador. And so when we see here, the move could onboard more than 100,000 Tongans onto the Bitcoin network. And as you know, there's close to 106,000 Tongans living in the country, and there's a lot of high poverty rate. It's roughly around 22% of people living there are in poverty. So this can be a really big benefit to the country. And so Fosita said, the bill is modeled on and almost identical to the El Salvador bill. And of course, on the contrary, there is mention that a disposable income increase by 30% with an extra 30%, some people are going to be saving it rather than putting it into the economy and stacking sats. And so the International Finance Corporation estimates that Tonga receives more than income from remittances than any other country in the world, contributing about 30% of household income. And so Tonga's remittance as a percentage of gross domestic product is substantially higher than El Salvador at 39% versus 24%. So this would be a much bigger benefit for this country if they adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. And the next thing I wanted to share with you news is that the U.S. committee is announcing a hearing on cryptocurrency energy consumption. As you know from my previous video, I mentioned that Bitcoin is the most mining is done in the United States, roughly 35%. And so because of this, they are going to have a hearing to take a look at the energy consumption in the United States, since we are the largest in terms of Bitcoin mining in the world. And so the United States House Committee is going to announce this hearing that's going to occur on January 20th, 2022. And the committee chairman, Frank Paulon, and oversight investigation chair, Diana, in a joint statement said, in just a few short years, cryptocurrency has seen a meteoric rise in popularity. It's time to understand and address the steep energy and environmental impacts it is having on our communities and on our planet. And this is going to be focusing on proof of work blockchains such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, we're going to have 118 more years of Bitcoin to be mined, which is 2 million left, 10% of the remaining supply that needs to be mined still. That's going to still be on proof of work for Bitcoin at least. Ethereum, when it changes to proof of stake, it will no longer be proof of work. So for this time, they're going to still evaluate how much energy is being consumed by these two, since these are the biggest two by market cap. And so another thing that is said is we look forward to examining the crypto mining's growing energy footprint and how proof of work blockchains in particular may migrate toward cleaner alternatives and renewable energy consumptions. And so what we see here, of course, according to Cambridge University, like I mentioned last time, Bitcoin consumes around 120 terawatt hours of energy per year, and Ethereum translates about roughly 106 terawatt hours per year. And so only 39% of the Bitcoin's network is powered by renewable energy. This level of energy consumption broadly translates to billions of pounds of burned coal or millions of homes' average electricity consumption per year, according to Cambridge University. And we can look further into this and see that proof of work, proof of stake blockchains are obviously going to consume less energy. And so according to Alex, founder of DigiEconomist, proof of stake blockchains are broadly said to be less environmentally damaging. If more companies care, the alternatives can easily become more widely used. And now I'm going to show you what is a useful on-chain indicator, which is one I like to look at to assess the investor sentiment. It's the net unrealized profit or loss from Glassnode. And so we can see here that when it reaches a level of over 75%, we tend to be in a euphoric stage, and you can see it in the color blue. And we have seen drops in the market after reaching that stage. Since, as you know, the higher the price Bitcoin goes, the more likelihood people would want to take profits, right? So this measures overall what is the market, investor sentiment, so to speak. So I like to use this to see. And so right now we're around here in the optimism anxiety stage. So we're still not near the peak, so to speak. And there was another thing that was mentioned a lot, which is the Bitcoin adjusted dormancy flow. And when it's very low, it tends to usually refer to times when it's the bottom of the market. And we've seen in the history is that in 2012, 2015, 2019, 2020, as well as right now in 2022, we've reached roughly the bottom here. And the last one I want to share with you is the realized HODL ratio. So this ideally tells you if we're in an overheated market, so to speak. And so when the ratio goes above roughly 50,000, it tends to get overheated. As we can see, the price has dropped when it gets overheated in the market, and we are nowhere near being overheated right now. And so that is all I have to share with you today. If you feel, what are your thoughts on the hearing that's going to be happening? What do you think should be done to benefit, the environment and all that stuff? Comment down below. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Crypto Roundup Show.